Hi, my name is Richard Crawford, host of Supply and Demand, an enlightening webcast show where we delve into the dynamic world of the global supply chain and where we navigate through the complexities, disruptions, and innovations that shape this vital network of interconnected businesses. From sourcing raw materials to delivering finished products, we'll uncover the challenges that arise at each stage and explore the strategies for optimizing efficiency and sustainability. And each week, we'll highlight and discuss a specific supply chain event. And of course, I'll be joined by my co-host and resident supply chain expert, founder and CEO of the Atlas Network, Mr. Kareem Kafuri himself. Kareem, how are you, buddy?
Good. How you doing, Richard? I'm ready for another great episode.
Yeah, doing fantastic. Now we had a really interesting week, didn't we?
We did. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we headed to Manifest, and just give our audience, for those that don't know, a little insight, a little background into what Manifest is.
Sure. I mean, Manifest is the ultimate supply chain industry conference. It really brings together all different aspects of the entire industry into one place over 2 or 3 days in Las Vegas, which is always fun to be there. And it was wonderful. I mean, you want to know what's going on in the supply chain today. You go to Manifest and you really get a true sense. Fully international companies from around the world. Lots of great panels and speakers and information being presented. I actually got a chance to speak on day 3 on nearshoring done right, which was a really cool, very interesting hot topic today. And it was just really wonderful. They did a lot of fun things there to make it engaging. Beer gardens, puppy parks where you can play with puppies, golf simulators. Events every day. They had a music concert that was put on by Neo. I mean, it was really wonderful. And we had, Katie Date from Manifest on one of our previous shows, and we really enjoyed talking with her about this. And I can just see us absolutely attending Manifest going further and into the future. We interviewed a lot of people while we were there for Supply and Demand. We did a nice live Manifest show, essentially, that we're going to be rolling out a lot of these individualized interviews that we did with many different CEOs and company leaders. So it was a good time for us too with Supply and Demand show, and just a good show overall. So I mean, I loved it. How'd you feel about it?
Look, the show was incredible. Vegas is always fun, although we got rained on the whole time. I did not expect it. And when I say rained on, there was rivers flowing through the middle of Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's right.
That was crazy, wasn't it?
It was pretty.
All right, so let's bring in our guest for today. And in this episode, we're joined by a man who is an industry expert. He's a thought leader. He's an author. He's a public speaker. He's an advisor. He's a sustainability fighter. He's a collaboration partner, logistics and technology fan, Mr. Bart De Muynck. Bart, that is quite the resume, my friend. You're a Renaissance man. Tell us a little more, and welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, Richard. Maybe that shows a little bit my age, right? I've been in this industry for quite a while now.
Yeah, so tell our audience what it is that you're actually doing in the industry now.
Yeah, so I played over the last 32 years different roles. What I'm currently doing is I'm an advisor, independent advisor, working mainly with logistics technology companies, smaller and larger as well, to kind of help them in the current environment to be more successful and kind of help them align to the needs of the industry of today. And then I also work with a venture capital company, Venture 53, where we're investing in smaller startup companies, again, specifically focused on the logistics technology industry.
Yep. So we chatted at Manifest, Bart, and Kareem and I had a really good time. I presume you did too. What did you get out of Manifest?
Yeah, I would say what probably a lot of people have already mentioned and you've seen on social media, I think the networking, right? It's one of those events where the whole industry comes together. And I think it's one of those unique conferences where you see shippers, carriers, 3PLs, brokers, you see the technology side, you see the venture capital, the private equity, everyone comes together great conversations. This year, a little bit different because this was my third. There's been 3 manifests. I've been to all 3 of them. The first year I went, I think I knew 80 to 90% of all the sponsors there, right? All the people on the expo floor. Yep. Last year, a little bit less. And I was amazed how many new companies were there this year. So for me, learned a lot of new companies and met a lot of new people, which is always great.
You know, it's interesting you say that. I realized there, I mean, the supply chain is a big chain from A to Z. And what I realized is that even although all of these companies are in the same industry technically, the people at point A don't really know the people's business at point F, and definitely don't really understand or fully understand the people's business at point Z. So I think everybody presumes when you're in the supply chain logistics industry that everybody knows everything about A to Z, and it's just not true. And I think something like Manifest, bringing everybody together there is probably really educational for a lot of the companies that are there.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And supply chains are complex, right? And they're more complex now than ever. And sometimes I feel like, are we really a chain or just, you know, kind of a collection of different shackles? Because often we're also still very siloed. But I think that's the goal of bringing everyone together to kind of discuss what is possible. How can we bring it more together, and how can we do it more efficiently?
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Well, Bart, look, sorry, Kareem, go ahead.
No, I was going to agree exactly with what Bart was saying, that, you know, the industry has been siloed for a very long time, and then you have events like Manifest, which puts everybody basically in the same room together for a couple of days, and real opportunities start to fly. Really good conversations, information sharing, and then that promotes, you know, a better, more efficient industry in so many ways. So, I mean, I feel exactly as you do, Richard and Bart, being there, having some conversations with people that are down the chain or up the chain or wherever else it is, and really just saying, wow, I didn't really even understand or know that this part of the business was a problem, or this is being tackled or looked at. And the panels were really great too. I sat in on a couple of panels. And I learned a lot too, just kind of being you know, an audience member as well. So I mean, really great show. I'm looking forward to seeing it again next year too. So anyway, go ahead, Richard.
Yeah, and as well as all these amazing companies that were there, they had a puppy park. They had puppies there, which, by the way, was really, really good, because something like this can be really, really stressful for a lot of people. And you know, they had the puppies there in order to introduce them to being around people and stuff, but also at the same time, people got to hang out with puppies and just like totally relax and get all of that stress off of their shoulders. It's an interesting concept, and probably something you'll see more and more at any expo, right?
Very much.
Yeah,
so.
Very true. And sometimes I even think like the puppies are a good maybe a good analogy to supply chain, right? Because you get all these little puppies. Some of them are kind of maybe a little calmer, some a little feistier. Yeah, and they all have to play together in that little puppy pen, and then all these strangers come along, right? I've never heard of a puppy pen where anyone got bitten. So it's a little bit like us. They throw us in the deep. You don't get bitten, right? We're all nice people. We got to go in there and just meet new people and get new experiences.
Great analogy, Bart. Now, we've been taking it easy on you up to this point, Bart, but now it's the hard part, or now the fun, but, you know, put you in the hot seat is what we're about to do now. So the hot seat is, we're going to ask you 3 questions, and we're looking for your answers within 5 minutes. And we will tell you that this is a contest between all of our guests, and that our winner right so far is Katie Date, who actually runs and markets for Manifest, and she managed to do it in 4 minutes and 58 seconds. So that is going to be really hard to beat, but I know you, being the man that you are going to give it a good shot. So are you ready, my friend?
I am ready.
All right, so the clock starts now. What are some predictions for the logistics industry for 2024?
Yeah, so I think 2 years ago we might have thought 2024 was the big year of the comeback of the economy and everything. I think we're starting to see signs of that. I don't think it'll come until 2025, and as you know, it's an election year. But the prediction is this is really a year where people will put their basic processes back together, and we'll talk about technology, how that plays a role, really get us ready for 2025 when the market will come back. We're already starting to see inflation rates go down, interest rates will go down, and we're going to help, as logistics people, we're going to help push the American economy forward.
Kareem?
Very good. Number two, what will be happening to logistics tech and startups in the next 12 to 36 months?
As I mentioned before, right, I've never seen more and more new vendors at Manifest. We continue seeing more investment in logistics technology, both by the end users. The next 3 years, we'll see more investment in technology than we've seen ever. And the other part is we'll continue investing. You might not see the big checks, but we're going to see a lot of investment in a lot of companies, and there's a lot of new stuff going on. But don't forget, it's not all the shiny new stuff. It's not all AI. A lot of it is back to basics, investing in those technologies that make the biggest impact in creating value for your organization.
All right, Bart, so we have one more question, but I want to tell you, you got lots of time. So you might want to stretch out this answer a little bit and try and get as close to 5 minutes as you possibly can. So what areas will companies continue to focus on to improve logistics?
Yeah, I think three major areas that I see, right? And again, it's back to basics in the sense of we don't want these fluff additional technologies that we just bolt on. It's really the things that create the biggest value and that impact most of your basic processes in the organization. So we see it in things like transportation management solutions. A lot of companies either still use it manually or maybe something customs or very old systems. There we're going to see more investment in newer systems that are a lot more responsive, dynamic, real time, and can actually use data that we get. And the difference is you do need underneath some newer architectures like microservices architecture, where you can use things like AI, but you're actually using it to make your company more dynamic. The second one is I see a lot of continued investment in visibility. Not just visibility to kind of inventory in motion, the transportation visibility that we've seen in the past with companies like Project 44, still pushing forward with that, but also a lot of focus on the inventory in motion, what's sitting in the warehouse, what's sitting in the retail store, because we know inventory has been a big headache the last couple of years. And then thirdly, I think finally, and I've been pushing for this for a long time, we see a lot more activity in the yard, where we see yard automation, things like yard vision, where we see vehicle access management going on. And you saw that on the floor, a couple of different vendors focused on that. So this might well be finally the year of the yard, where we're bringing that black hole between transportation and warehouse, which is the yard, bringing that to the forefront.
All right, Bart. Well, you did pretty well. You definitely got all of the questions in within 5 minutes. You had a little time to spare. Katie Date had you beat by quite a bit, but some very good, some very concise answers. So our audience are going to really appreciate that.
And I wanted to say one thing to what Bart said at the end regarding the yard and so on.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Bart. I mean, I saw some amazing things, some amazing technology at Manifest that was really just cutting edge. You know, one of the things that I think Richard and I saw that was quite interesting, which is not really yard, but kind of yard, was this group that essentially has some kind of like a movable skid, which goes inside of the container and within 30 seconds allows you to pull out all of those pallets in one, basically like a sliding drawer that's like inside of the container, and then allows you to really be able to kind of just do that offloading process quite easily. In my business, you know, bringing in hundreds of containers for our clients, one of the number one challenges that we always face is exactly that. You know, you get to these warehouses, some of them are not really manned properly. They don't even have lift gates or pallet jacks or whatever they need. And they've got an hour, right, to offload this container, and they go over and they have to pay additional fees, and the truckers get upset and the containers don't get back to the port in time and things like that. So that was something I saw that was very, very interesting to me. pretty simple philosophy and technology, and the real, I think, market for those guys are the freight forwarders to say, hey, DeWell and Hapag-Lloyd or whoever, you need to build these sliding drawers inside of the bottom of your sea containers and slide these things out quick and get them off, and that gets your containers back on the water fast. And so when you talked about that, that was something that I definitely pulled out of that. I don't know if you saw that on the floor too.
Yeah, Kareem, I would fully agree. Actually, the last ever note that I published when I left Gartner 2 years ago was exactly about that, right? Where we've done so much automation on transportation in the warehouse, not at the dock door. And let's not forget, right, when the economy comes back, we already see a lot of these facilities which are older, and you've automated a lot in the warehouse, but not the dock door. And you got to remember, a lot of these yards have seen their volume increase, but guess what? They don't get more dock doors. So the longer you occupy them, even if you do a drop and hook, you're going to limit the flow through of those locations. So by speeding that whole process up and bringing it in the warehouse and then dealing with it, you're going to have these more trucks going in and out and doing that faster. And that's going to help, like you said, it's going to help free up more capacity, right? Because as long as a truck, the wheels aren't turning, we don't have capacity, right? And we're losing too much of that with the wheels just standing still, whether it's in traffic, but a lot of it also in the yards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a great area of improvement for future supply chain. It was nice to see some of that, and we had some good conversations with some folks there, and you've obviously been thinking about it for a long time and writing about it. So hopefully we'll see some more of that. So I appreciate the insight, and I actually really saw the same opportunity there too.
Yeah. I was also fascinated by the last mile guys, right? So the autonomous vehicles, and the company we spoke to, Updrone, I think was the name of the company, Kareem. After speaking to them, I actually came back home. I want to order something online where I know that it's going to be delivered by drone, so that I can just watch a drone come down in my garden and drop off a package. I've never actually seen it live. The CEO of that company assured me that it's happening, and he assured me that it's happening in the state of Virginia, which is where I currently am, right across the river from Washington, D.C. So I have to figure out how to order something, anything at all, where I can watch that drone drop something into my yard. How cool would that be?
Yeah, I've seen it, Richard. So I'm in Texas. Texas is probably one of the states that are a little bit more open to drone. Obviously, we have more space, so it has to do with security. You're not going to see that in Washington, D.C., right?
No.
But here in Texas, I think we're on the list, like with Walmart, as the next in line, one of the next zip codes that can expect that. So I'm not 100% sure if I need it. I'm one of those people that kind of go like, well, in last mile, we've sped everything up so fast. It's like, you know what? We don't need everything right here and right now. You said in the beginning in the intro, I'm a sustainability fighter. So I'm like more like, let's slow it down. Let's really understand, what do we need right now? We're not little kids, right? It's not like, hey, mom, I gotta need it and I gotta want it right now. Let's think about it a little bit more. There's a lot of things that we can do better, not just for the environment, but make the whole industry kind of more efficient as well. And sometimes that means slowing things down, right? When you order on Amazon and they offer you free same-day delivery, do you really need that same day, or can it go 5 days? So I think there's a balance, and I think the good thing is data will help us to create some of that transparency. We're going to see that either in some of the laws. In Europe, we already have that with supply chain law, where companies have to kind of do a lot more due diligence and report on that. But let's inform the customer better and let them make the decisions, but do it based on data rather than, oh, yeah, I can get it right now and it's free anyway, and we're going to do all these free returns. So drones are actually very helpful. It saves lives. You know where it actually started? Medical field. Blood banks that had fixed routes where they go from a blood bank to a hospital to not have to go through traffic and to deliver those blood packages within 10-15 minutes. So there are really good use cases for it, but let's not go crazy to have everything delivered by drones.
All right, you just burst my bubble. I
agree, though. I agree with you.
No, I'm not pushing your bubble in the sense of you can do it, but let's be sensible about it, right?
All right, I'll tell them I don't need it today, but I'm willing to wait 5 days to see that drone come in the garden. How's that?
Yeah.
Well, look, Bart, that was really, really insightful, everything that you've said today. And it's been a real pleasure to have you on as a guest. You're a very knowledgeable man, and you've been around for a long time, but have a lot of experience in a lot of different facets. So we thoroughly appreciate you being on the show. But before you go, let people know how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, either LinkedIn, right? Bart De Muynck, just follow me on LinkedIn. And then on the business side, bartdemuynck.com. I know it's not that easy to spell, but I'm sure you guys will have that, the name on the webinar as well. And then if you want to just follow some of my articles, go to bettersupplychains.com, where you see kind of all the articles that I write. And it's really my goal to give insight to make supply chains better for everyone.
Thank you, Bart. And Kareem, how can people get a hold of you, buddy?
We are at theatlasnetwork.com, and basically Global Supply Chain Solutions is our business. We've been doing that for about 20 years. I'm also on LinkedIn like Bart is as well, and do some writing and so on, but not to the level that Bart does. But same kind of idea, looking to help improve and make supply chain industry better and better. And any ways that we can do that, we try to help to do that.
Thanks, Kareem. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching and listening. And just a reminder that each week we'll have a very special guest on to continue our conversation in the fascinating world of the global supply chain. And don't forget to follow our links on YouTube, The Supply and Demand Show, and on LinkedIn, The Supply and Demand Show. And so we'll see you guys very soon. Thank you very much.